welcome to TEDx, as in EXPO, right? We believe that we have an idea worth spreading. This is the amazing team from EXPO High School in Waterloo, Iowa, and they are really the inspiration behind this message, and they're the inspiration for me on a daily basis. My name is Teri Trask, and I have been 34 years in education. I've had the opportunity to be an elementary school teacher, elementary principal, spent some time at the district office doing PD, and the last 3 years I've had the privilege of working with amazing kids and schools like EXPO in the area of leadership. When this picture was taken, we had just wrapped up a day of empowerment. And our message to you today is the power of empowerment. I asked these students to give me one word or phrase that really captured the essence of our time together. And this was their list. They had some very powerful words. The first one was pride. And as a real teacher, I said, tell me more. They said proud of themselves, proud of each other, and ultimately really proud of their school. And if you could go to their school, you'd be proud too. Secondly, was they said they felt heard that day, like they had a voice. And it's because the adults in the room trusted them. And one young man said, I think they just wanted to see how far we could take it. Another lady who I just adore said, it was kind of fun to try to spice it up around here. It was pretty exciting. And they're right here in the audience with me today, so they're going to keep me honest with this message. Passion came out loud and clear from both the adults and the kids. They said it felt like we were a family today, and the reason it felt like we were a family is because there was no judgment. We could all just share our ideas, and it felt like one big ripple, and that change was starting literally with me. Not with me, but inside each of them. He said, you know, there was teamwork, we felt strong. One I loved the most was felt like we were leaving our mark here. Like we actually have a legacy because of that voice. So those words were great. I mean, we've all done that, right? We've been to a workshop and you get all excited. And so, you know, everything that's in your head, or in your head up here and your heart here, you're ready to share. You got some new knowledge. But then sometimes we just go home and it's over. It's one and done. So I think what's even more amazing about this crew is that I came back 2 weeks later and those words weren't just words. They were action. And that action, ladies and gentlemen, was very exciting to hear about and to see. I mean, already in 2 weeks, they had some new bulletin boards above drinking fountains. They had decorations in the trophy case because graduation was just here last night. And I think Caden said, hey, not sure how long it's been since it was decorated, and it might still be there next year, but it's new right now, and that's awesome. They have a summer retreat on the books, and one of the items on that agenda is to do ceiling tiles. I mean, talk about leave your mark. You got a ceiling tile with your stamp on it, and I know that, Sean, you like to draw, so yours is going to be amazing. That's leaving your mark, right? And something I'm really excited about is we have Mr. Deacon, who has taken it before leaders right here in this building to say, we want a mascot, like all the other schools. We take that for granted at other schools. In this school, they said, we want a mascot. And all the kids were very quick to say, an eagle. The EXPO Eagles. When I said why, they said, freedom. Freedom was their word. And I would love to add that to the list, because that's exactly what it feels like when you feel heard, is there's freedom. And that's what they get here at EXPO. Unfortunately, that's not the typical. That's the ideal. It isn't common. We have a slide here to share with you to kind of illustrate our point. You know, we talked that day about the population in a school is 90% students and 10% adults. Right? That's the population. You have 400 kids, you have 40 adults. Right? 90-10. Here's what's unfortunate. And I'm going to invite you, before I show you this slide, to think about your own school experience. Or your own classroom if you're a teacher. When it came to school activities, when it came to school work, when it came to the school environment, whose voice and power did you see? Was it the 10% or the 90%? Because here's the typical. The typical is that 10% of the population, the adults, they get to make 90% of the decisions. 90% of the voice spoken by 10% of the people in the building. We think that's a problem. We think that's a big problem. So that problem really led us to two questions. Our first question was, why isn't it more common? And our second question was, what can we do? We, here at EXPO, what can we do to inspire change? What's our message worth spreading? So question one, why? Why is it not more common? We did a little random sampling of teachers, and here's what we found out. 3 themes emerged. First one, why is it not more common to empower kids? My goodness, maybe the 10% of those adults, they're afraid if they give students control, the students will lose control. Which really was the second theme of, we don't believe they can do it in the first place. Which led to the third one, and I'm guilty of this even as a parent sometimes, is, you know, there's a little bit of comfort in knowing that I get to control and direct student learning. Because the message that I send is, you need me to be successful. And that makes me feel good. When we looked at those 3 and we said, wait a minute, we're afraid they're going to lose control, we don't believe them, we don't believe in them, and then they might not need us. Authentic learning doesn't take place that way. It's just the opposite. Sometimes no learning takes place that way. It's just compliance. We're just here. That's not learning. That's what we found out when we said, why? So it led us to the very next thing, which is, what can we do to inspire change? We're starting right here, ladies and gentlemen, with this TED Talk. And we're saying, please hear our story. Please hear our story, and please make a change. So in looking at what can we do to inspire change, I'm going to invite you right back into our EXPO story. I told you how it ended. Here's how it started. With these amazing people. These are adults. This is the adult lighthouse team at EXPO High School. 5 of the most incredible people I know. Because these people chose to change their paradigm. And when I say paradigm, it's the way we see things, people. It's our mental map. If we see something a certain way, we do things a certain way, and we get certain results. So what these 5 people at EXPO chose to do, as I say, they chose to put on their empowerment specs. Here they are right here. What do you think of these? Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Courtney. There you go. Right there. So when they have your empowerment specs on, when you see people through Rockstar Glasses, that's what these are. These are Rockstar Glasses, right? Here's your paradigm. Your paradigm is not, I need to control. You don't control and direct with these babies on. No. Your paradigm is, I empower students to lead their own learning. Every kid I look at is a rock star. I just need to find out what they rock at. I want to know what your greatness is. I know it's in there. And you know it too, right? So when I have these glasses on, and when these amazing people have these glasses on, their paradigm is, I was born to empower you, right? And here's the message that they send is, I believe in you. I trust you. This is our school. This is our school. And here's what I found out, is that when we start to change the way we look at people, and the way we look at things, when we change the way we look at them, the people and the things change. And they did. In one day at EXPO. So that's the first thing they did. They had to change their paradigm, right? So what did those adults do next? Step 2. They asked the kids. They said, we have the same goal. What do you want to do to make EXPO a better place? It's your place. And what do you want to do so that everybody knows this is an amazing place? They asked them. But more than asking, they actually listened. Look at these pictures. Here we have students saying, hey, this is what we think. And we have adults listening. Remember those words? Voice. I was heard. They trusted me. Here's another picture. Same thing. And I loved what one student said. You know what? It just felt like we could take over. And you did, Kale, and you did a great job. So after they listened, okay, end of day, right? We go on. So that was really a nice assignment. Lesson plan completed. Check it off. We're done. Not at Expo. What did they do next? They cleared the path. Now that's the educational jargon for one of the 4 main leadership roles. We cleared the path. At Expo, they say, you know what? We support the kids, we support their solutions, and we just get out of their way. And I love the way they say that. We just get out of their way. And we let them succeed. We set them up for success. So when you think about that, again, I was heard that day. I felt like there was hope, there was change. This is our school. I'm getting to leave my legacy. And here's the last thing that they did, but they were doing it the entire time. They were modeling. Modeling, modeling, modeling. They were modeling that change starts with me. Change starts with me. And so that ripple that the kids were talking about at the end of the day, it was there. That was not imagined. It was there. Those were those 4 things that they did. Well, you might be thinking, hey, this is great for Expo, but we're not Expo, right? You don't know what we have at our school. Well, we wondered the same thing. We wondered, could this be replicated? So we took our idea, we shared it with some others, and we said, let's see if this empowerment thing is as powerful as we think it is. And we are thrilled to report it is. Check this out. This is a group of students from Orchard Hill Elementary in Cedar Falls, Iowa. They had been wanting to explore things that they wanted to explore, their passions. Teachers were kind of dragging their feet on it. Kids kept pushing, and they said, okay, we'll start small. We're going to give them the opportunity to select and choose passion groups. And it's cooking and gardening and exercise and all kinds of things. Well, it has taken off. Not only, this is the kids right here. They're presenting to the community to say, hey, this is our passion groups, our passion palooza at Orchard Hill Elementary. And now those adults that weren't so excited about it in the beginning, they can't wait to have it be even bigger and better next year. Here's a group of students, and they are from St. Ed Elementary in Waterloo, Iowa. They are doing a podcast, and they actually are now going to start doing this monthly to communicate what's happening in their school and about the 7 habits. And exactly what Expo said, take it and run. Take it and run. That's what they did. I had one student email to set up the interview. I get there, somebody greets me. You can see we have 2 students doing the recording, 2 were doing the hosting. I said, those are great questions. Where'd you get that script? 2 other students had done the script. Remember what Expo said? Teamwork. We're a family. No judgment. Same thing, only at St. Ed's. This last one, I love it. This is Southdale Elementary in Cedar Falls, and there was a teacher who said to his students at the beginning of the year, I have a challenge for you. Here's my challenge. What is it that you want to do to make a difference so that this year doesn't go by and it's just the year is over? And it took them a while to think about it, but they came up with 2 goals. Their goal was to have a buddy bench on their playground because they see way too many kids standing by themselves. And the other thing they wanted to do is to pull their school together in some sense of community and have an all-school leadership assembly, something they haven't done for years there. This picture was taken just 2 weeks ago, and it's May, at their all-school assembly. And you can't see it here, but hidden under this red tarp is a buddy bench. And they were so excited. They are ready to leave their mark. Ready to leave their mark. And they felt like they were trusted, and you could feel the passion in that room. It was amazing. Here's what's even more amazing. All of those descriptors that you heard, voice and teamwork and no judgment and pride, those descriptors are not just for students. Those are for adults too. When I went back to Expo, Ms. Weichel said, you know what? When these kids came out all excited, it actually got our staff motivated, and more of them decided to get involved or involved at a different level. That's exactly what it's about. This guy right here, this is the teacher that challenged his class at the beginning of the year at Southdale. This was taken immediately following that assembly. He said, you know, I started the year trying to inspire my kids. And what happened is they inspired me. He said they found their voice and I found mine. It's been an amazing year to have our first ever assembly and to see the pride they had with that bench. And it really reminded me of what Stephen Covey says, because it can go both ways, right? This is one of Covey's quotes. It says, once you have found your own voice, and educators that are listening to this, I want you to reflect on that. Once you have found your own voice, the choice to expand your influence, just like the EXPO Lighthouse team did, to increase your contribution, is the choice to inspire others to find their voice. Now, what I think is amazing is that these EXPO kids that are sitting right here, they found their voice that day. They have no idea how many people, adults and kids, that they inspired to find theirs too. And we think that ripple's just going to keep spreading as this idea that we believe is worth spreading and sharing does the same thing. So we know that this is a powerful empowerment tool. And you have access to this too. We just want to recap for you these 5 steps. You can do this at your school. We know you can. Step 1. Make the choice to make a change. Change starts with you. Make the choice. Step 2. Check your paradigms. Seriously, check your paradigms. Do you have empowerment specs? I mean, do you own a pair? If not, get a pair. It's worth it. So once you make the choice and you say, you know what, I need to check my paradigms, ask yourself, do I really believe in these kids? Or if I'm going to spend all year getting them to believe in me? Because it works a lot better if you believe in them first. Step 3, ask them and then listen. Step 3 has 2 parts. Asking is only part of the deal. You've got to listen. Step 4, clear the path, get out of their way, trust them. And step 5 is model. Model, model, model. Because here's the deal. Once your students see that change starts with you right here, once they see this is where change starts for you, that's where change starts for them. That's where change starts for them. And that's really true leadership. Because as Covey would say, leadership is communicating. And it is communicating to people their worth and potential so clearly that they see it in themselves. And that day, I had the honor of standing back and watching that happen right here at EXPO High School. And it was incredible. Game changer. For me and for several other schools that we get to impact. But I don't want you to just hear that from me. I want you to hear it from those kids. So I'm going to invite them to join me here on the stage right now. Those that are comfortable. If I could get a few of you to come on up. You know, our TED Talks, they have a pattern and they have a flow, and we've done that. We've explained the ideal, we've explained the problem, we've given you some steps. But this group, they have really a final call to action for all of you. And I'm going to hand this to Sean right here, and I'm going to do what I'm asking you to do. I'm going to get out of their way, and I'm going to let them share with you that final hope and final call to action. Team EXPO, take it away.
Our greatest hope for each of you is that you choose to find the power of empowerment.
Thank you.